Welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam morning class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam chapter 4, canto 4, chapter number 25, text 50 and 51. Pitṛhū-nirpa-puryādvar Pitṛhū-nirpa-puryādvar Dakṣiṇa-pañcāla Rāṣṭram Dakṣiṇa-pañcālam Yati Śrutadharanvita Pitṛhū-nirpa-puryādvar Dakṣiṇa-pañcāla Rāṣṭram Dakṣiṇa-pañcālam Yati Śrutadharanvita Pitṛhū-nirpa-puryādvar Dakṣiṇa-pañcāla Rāṣṭram Dakṣiṇa-pañcālam Yati Śrutadharanvita. Word to word. Pitṛhū, of the name Pitṛhū. Nirpa, O King. Purya, of the city. Dva, gate. Dakṣiṇena, on the southern side. Purañjana, King Purañjana. Rāṣṭram, country. Dakṣiṇa, southern. Pañcālam, of the name Pañcāla. Yati, used to go. Śrutadhara Anvita, along with his friend Śrutadhara. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki. The southern gate of the city was known as Pitṛhū, And through that gate King Purañjana used to visit the city, named Dakṣiṇa-pañcāla, accompanied by his friend Śrutadhara. Purport. The right ear is used for karmakandya or fruitive activities. As long as one is attached to the enjoyment of material resources, he hears from the right ear and uses the five senses to elevate himself to the higher planetary systems like Pitṛhū. Consequently, the right ear here is described as Pitṛhū gate. Text number 51, I'll read it just here. Devahurnama Puryadvar Uttarena Puranjana Rashtam Uttara Panchalam Yati Śrutadharanvita. Translation. On the northern side was the gate named Devahū. Through the gate King Purañjana used to go with his friend Śrutadhara to the place known as Uttara-pañcāla. The two ears are situated on the northern side and the southern side. The ear on the southern side is very strong and is always anxious to hear about sense enjoyment. The ear on the northern side, however, is used for taking initiation from the spiritual master and for gaining promotion to the spiritual sky. The right ear the ear on the southern side is called Pitṛhū, which indicates that it is used for attaining the higher planetary systems known as Pitṛhū, but the left ear, which is known as Devahū, is utilized for hearing about even higher planetary systems such as Maharloka, Tapaloka and Brahmaloka, or yet even higher planets situated in the spiritual universe, where one becomes more inclined to be permanently situated. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita 9.25. Yanti deva vrata devan pitra yanti pitra vrata bhutani yanti bhutechya yanti mad yagna api mam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. Those who worship ancestors and go to the ancestors, and those who worship me will live in me. One who is interested in being happy in this world as well as after death generally wants to be elevated to the Pitṛhū. Such a person can use the right ear for hearing Vedic instructions. However, one who is interested in going to Tapaloka, Brahmaloka, the Vaikuntha planets, or Krishna Loka may take initiation from the spiritual master in order to be elevated to such lokas. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadyamayham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatarine. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvese Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We can see here how King Purañjana is involved in sense enjoyment, and for the last few days we have been continuing this chapter about King Purañjana. So we see how King Purañjana is an allegory for the living entity in this material world, just like us, and how the living entity is entrapped in material sense enjoyment, which is the most debilitating thing in this material world, because it does not actually elevate us, rather it degrades us. We are seeing how Prabhupada here said that there are two ears. We have two ears, the right and the left, and the right is used for sense enjoyment. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 9:25 that those who worship demigods take births among them. Those who worships the ghosts and spirits, they take birth among such beings, and those who worship ancestors go to such ancestors. He gives further clarification of why someone might worship demigods, because he says that people are short-sighted and basically foolish. They don't think of the ultimate benefit, but rather they think of the short-term benefit. We are all very much afflicted by the three modes of material natures and three kinds of miseries. What are the three kinds of miseries? One is that we are afflicted by our own body and mind. The three modes of material nature are so powerful that it empowers us to fulfill all our sense gratificatory desires, and due to that, because our body is not made in such a manner to be able to gratify all our senses eternally, so because of the temporary nature of the material world, everything is non-satisfactory to us. There's the second type of distress that we face is because of living entities like demigods and other beings, such as rainfall, volcano, tornado, all these things. And we can see how as Kali Yuga is advancing, all these things are becoming more and more prevalent. Why is this so? Because of our inclination for sense gratification, and because we want pleasure in this life, we are destroying the planet that we live on, which is Mother Earth, and we are exploiting the resources. As a result, whatever we sow, so shall we reap. And hence we see that the demigods like Indra, for example, is not giving us frequent rains. The rains are becoming more and more scarce. It's written in the Srimad Bhagavatam that as the Kali Yuga advances, there will be a time when there will be lots and lots of rains, so much rain that they would lead to devastation. And we can see the symptoms of it already present, like in the sense that there are a lot of droughts, and then there is a lot of floods as well. The ocean sea level is rising. And later on it said in that the Kali Yuga, there will be no rain. There will be scorching heat. And the sun would be 1,000 times more hot than it is now. So one can see that one has the choice to use the ears. One can either use it for sense enjoyment, or one can use it for spiritual matters. If one uses it for a spiritual matter, which is take initiation from a bona fide spiritual master, one can elevate himself to higher planetary systems, and one can even cross the material boundary and go to the Vaikuntha planets. Prabhupada in his purports and lectures often says that a devotee is so firmly determined in his goal that he does not even want the higher planetary systems like Maharloka, Tapaloka, Brahmaloka, And what to speak of even Vaikuntha planets. The thought of even getting liberation or the impersonal liberation is like going to hell for a devotee. So the devotee is always anxious to serve the Lord. And as we read the Sikshastakam prayers, it said that a devotee in the highest perfectional stage of Krishna Prema does not even want to go to Krishna Loka. He wants to stay wherever and whenever what his Lord desires, even in hell, even on this planet, birth after birth. That is the highest perfection of any living being. When that love becomes completely selfless, we also have love in this world, but it is so incomplete because it arises from something which is unfulfilled in nature. We are all beings which are seeking fulfillment, but our senses, our body, and our mind is conditioned in nature. As a result, we are not fulfilled. And thus, whatever we do is conditioned in nature, is selfish. It tends to exploit others, and hence we see Prabhupada mentioning many times that there is no love in this world, because love starts from unselfish, unbiased, unconditional, pure surrender. And hence love is not something of this world, rather it descends from the spiritual world. So when taking initiation from the spiritual master, the left ear is used for the initiation, and the spiritual master gives you the spiritual name, which means that you get a new birth. You get a new birth into the bona fide disciplic succession, and thereafter you practice your devotional service. Devotional service is said to be the cream of all kinds of dharmas, because there are many kinds of dharmas according to one's own psychophysical nature, according to one's varna, ashram. But in any case, all Vedic scriptures say that we should not be only stuck to our varna or ashrama. The essence of the varna and ashrama is to elevate us to perform devotional service of Hari. If one, for example, we are in the brahmacharya ashram, or we are in the grihastha ashram, or we are in the vanaprastha ashram, but we only stick to that ashram and we identify ourselves with that ashram, then we are not able to properly understand our identity as a spiritual being. We identify as a varn, as ashram in this material world. So any kind of designation is ultimately debilitating in nature, and that's why Krishna says in 18.66, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam. Sarva dharma, every kind of dharma, abandon and surrender unto me. I will take care of all the sins. You can see even a very elevated personality like Arjuna, who is Lord's eternal friend, birth after birth. He was the Nara and the Narayan was the Lord. And he has been taking births with the Lord for many, many lives. But even for such an elevated soul, he is committing sins. So what to talk about us? But the Lord says that if you surrender unto him unconditionally, then he will take care of all the sins. So right now our surrender is conditional or partial or artificial. Why? Because we don't have any kind of prema. Only when a living entity has Krishna prema can that love become unconditional or fully surrendered. And thus we practice the path of Vedi Bhakti or regulative devotional service, so that we are able to elevate ourselves at least to the platform of Brahman. Brahman means the impersonal realization of God. But being elevated to that platform, we can attain the mercy of the Lord very quickly because of the endeavor that we are doing. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vaivasatmika eva buddhi ekahi kurunandana bahushakahi anantascha buddhahi yo vaivashahinam, which means one whose determination is resolute or his purpose is resolute, his determination is fixed, one-pointed. And we can see how Srila Prabhupada inculcated and displayed that in his life. When he was cooking, he was only cooking. There have been instances where Matajis would come in the kitchen and they would try to talk to Prabhupada or ask about his personal history. But Prabhupada would be so determined in his service because that cooking is for Radha Gopinath. So he would always be completely absorbed in that. When he was chanting in the 26th Avenue, people have reported that they have never felt such transcendental ecstasy ever in his life. And it was not just once, it was not just twice, it was every time he chanted. Every time he chanted Jai Radha Madhava, people entered into some kind of ecstasy because he was so absorbed. So our goal should be to completely absorb ourselves in whatever devotional service we are doing. Either we are reading, either we are chanting, either we are performing some kind of deity worship or any kind of seva. Because the more we are determined, the more mercy we get. People sometimes say that, oh, there is no mercy, Prabhu Kripa Korun. But they don't understand that the mercy is already there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already broken that box of love for Krishna and spread it out all over this universe. The only means is now for us to access it. How can we access it? By unflinching determination and faith. Only when we have that kind of faith, and then comes the question, how can we develop such kind of determination, such kind of faith? And the Gita Krishna has repeatedly said that one who is involved in sense enjoyment cannot be determined on this path. The more we do sense enjoyment, the more and more we are away from pure devotional service. And enjoyment is even dangerous for the devotees. We may think that, oh, we are eating Krishna Prasad, or we are just talking casually to some people about Krishna Katha outside. But one has to be very cautious if one is overeating, which is called Pratyahara, right? Or if one is overeating, over-endeavoring, over-collecting, or if one is even fasting too much or becoming like a moni, too silent, then one gets ahankar, that I am the doer, I'm the enjoyer, I'm the proprietor. So one has to always be in the middle, and one has to understand his own body, his own psychophysical nature, what that person requires in order to advance spiritually, as per the guidance of spiritual master and the seniors as well. So, unflinching determination of faith also arises by service to spiritual master. Our service to our spiritual master is book distribution. This is the main thing of ISKCON, is to distribute more and more books, because that is what pleases Srila Prabhupada. The second instruction he gave is to establish the Varnashrama Dharma. Right now, if we take these two instructions to our heart and try to fulfill with all our sincerity, then we will get unflinching faith towards the holy name, towards the form of Krishna, towards the pastimes of Krishna, and even towards the dham of Krishna. With regards to chanting, I remember I'm that kind of a guy who always tries to chase ecstasy, but recently Narasimha Prabhu, one of my mentors, he gave me a really great realization that we don't chant for ecstasy. We only chant as a matter of duty. We only perform devotional service as a matter of duty. Just like a wife is duty bound to the husband, if we are completely chaste to the instructions of the spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada has told us to chant out loud and hear it and continue doing that. If we do that with all our heart, with all our attention, then ecstasy will follow. We don't need to chase it. We cannot approach Krishna. We are so tiny, and Krishna is Vibhu, that we have no power to approach him. But we can only approach him by the mercy of the Guru Parampara, of Srila Prabhupada, of the six Goswamis. And when that happens, then, as Radhanath Swami says, that in the beginning stage of devotional service, one has to grind hard very much like a materialist, day in and day out. We will think that, oh, this is so hard, I'm not getting any taste, it feels so hard, books are not going out. But if we keep doing that with sincerity, with devotion, with good association, then he says that there will be a time when you will soar up high in the sky and you look down and you'll see that everything is quite easy now. And you can gain flight from there very easily, even go down, come up. So it's like, and then he gave a further example where he said that that eagle who is flying in the sky, that eagle is thinking, I'm in such a high exalted position, But then he looks up and he sees another eagle which is above him. And then we can understand from that there is no limit to spiritual awakening. Even I was hearing the other day from Bhatta Dvijaraj Prabhu, and he was saying that we should not be interested in licking the honey from the outside. We should open the bottle and dive deep. And it's said that the love of Srimati Radharani is so deep, it's so immeasurable, that the gopis sitting at the feet of Sri Radha only want a drop of that love which is coming from her chin or her lotus mouth. And that drop of nectar or ecstasy is so powerful that it drowns all the gopis in unlimited bliss. And the manjaris are desiring a drop of that, of the remnants of the gopis. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave a bindu, a drop of ecstasy to Rupa Goswami, and he made the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So there are three kinds of paths set in the Bhagavad Gita. One is the Karma Yoga, one is the Jnana Yoga, one is Dhyana Yoga, and one is the Bhakti Yoga, which is all coming under one's yoga ladder. The Karma Khandya mentality is to worship the demigods and go to higher planetary systems to enjoy more material opulences like women, like beauty, like wealth, like fame. But even though you may have a very high birth, long span of life, but even then it will all diminish. We have hundreds of stories in Srimad Bhagavatam where even the apsaras in the celestial world are not happy. What to speak of the apsaras, even Indra over there is not happy. He is full of anxieties. Who might take over his position? So there's no anxiety-free card in the Swarga Loka. Then comes the Jnana Khanda, which means the people who are just desiring liberation. There are two types of jnanis. One who accepts the form of Krishna, and one who does not accept the form of Krishna. But the goal of both of them is the same. Both of them want to merge in the existence of God, which is basically annihilating their own existence. So even amongst your yogis, we sometimes see some of the yogis, they meditate on the form of Krishna as Paramatma, but even after getting some kind of faint darshan, they are so absorbed in the effulgence of Paramatma or Krishna that they brush aside the form of Krishna in order to merge to the form. And thus the jnanis are said to be worse than the karmis, because at least the karmis accept the existence of the Supreme Lord as a personality of Godhead. But the jnanis even reject that. Why? Because of the subtle desire of I am God. This is our biggest sin. The subtlest desire to become the center of this universe is the biggest, subtlest sin that eventually manifests into the gross desire called the sex desire. And we can see how prevalent is it in this world. Everybody is involved in sex. Walk to speak about Kali Yuga. We can see it even in the Swargaloka. And even the great rishis, munis, they are also not able to come out of this subtlest desire of I am God, because they want to enjoy. But there is only one enjoyer. And when one completely realizes that there is only one enjoyer, and that is Krishna, there is only one Purusha, and everybody else is Prakriti, then one attains pure devotional service. And hence we see that the Bhaktas are the highest yogis, are the highest jnanis. Because, and even in Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, even if one is all desirous of all kinds of material opulences, even if one has no material desires, or even if one wants liberation, one should only worship the Supreme Lord. Why is it said that? Because eventually, when you meditate on the Supreme Lord, when you hear His pastimes, when you chant His name, His glories, His paraphernalia, when you visit His dham, associate with His devotees, then gradually that desire gets purified. And once it gets purified, you understand that I was looking for trash when I actually got diamond. And that is what happened with Dhruva Maharaj. He was full of desires. He was the most passionate being. He was more passionate and ambitious than Hiranyakashipu. He wanted a kingdom greater than his great-grandfather, Lord Brahma. Hiranyakashipu only wanted 3 planetary systems. But Dhruva wanted a kingdom which is greater than Lord Brahma's creation. So we can understand the ambition of Dhruva. But the difference between Dhruva and Hiranyakashipu is that Dhruva was submissive. He was submissive to his mother, who was his first spiritual master. Then he was submissive to Narada Muni. He followed the instructions. And then came to Narada Muni. Narada Muni gave him instructions and checked his determination. He said to him, "Oh boy, what you are doing in this forest, you're only 5 years old. You should go back, play in your kingdom, and forget about all these things." And what did he say to him? He said that if you cannot help me find the Supreme Lord, then please go. Don't waste my time. And that pleased Narada Muni, seeing his determination, his one-pointed determination to achieve the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality, no matter for what reason. But that determination was there. So he initiated him, gave him the mantra, gave him Ashtanga Yoga exercises, taught him how to worship the deity of Vasudev. And he did that with all his heart. And we can see how it unraveled, how his meditation was so intense that he stood up on one toe without eating, drinking, anything, and he stopped breathing as well. And when he stopped breathing, he got so much tapa in him, so much power, that he could burn the entire creation down. And seeing that, but even after that, Lord Vishnu did not come. You see? Even if we are the greatest of the greatest yogis, he will not come. He is not pleased by your meditation. He is not pleased by your austerities, or what are you doing in this world, or any kind of fame, name. He's full in himself. He's Atmaram. He's Rasa Vigraha. He's fully satisfied in himself. Then what made the Supreme Lord come? It was only when Dhruva realized, he said that all this tapa will not make him come. I think I am doing something wrong. And when he was putting his feet down, he got so much separation from the Supreme Lord that all his tapa manifested into a teardrop. And that teardrop, as it rolled down his cheek and was about to fall in the ground, there was the Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu. So he comes only when he sees that we are intensely desperate. He comes when he sees that we are crying. And thus our acharyas say that crying is the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness. If you are crying, you should know that you are on the right path. But again, in order to cry, we need to soften our heart. And how can we do that? By chanting his name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is the only means. Said by Bhaktivinoda Thakur that if one has such unflinching faith in the holy name itself will reveal everything to you. You don't need to do anything else. But we don't have that kind of faith. And thus Prabhupada gave us so many services so that we can control our mind and we could bring it back to the holy name of the Lord. The holy name of the Lord is so powerful, and we sing it in our Sikshastakam, that it is bestowed with all kinds of energy and opulences of the Lord. It is non-different from Him in all respects. So when we are chanting, we should know, even if we don't get the taste, that we are in the association of Krishna. His name is non-different from Him. And the name has power to take you into His Leela. It has power to show you His form. It has power to reveal your eternal identity as well. So on that note, I thank you all for coming and listening to this class. If I made any mistakes, please forgive me. Feel free to ask any questions or comments. Hare Krishna. Okay. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. I heard it from a class from Radhanath Maharaj. I have not read the Bhagavatam section of it, so I don't know whether it's written or there. But I've not only heard from Radhanath Maharaj, but I've also heard from Gaur-Govinda Maharaj and other Maharajas as well. And like this is a very famous story, and yeah. So I'll send you a link. Yeah. Okay. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Samaveda Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. Srila Prabhupada.